በስመ አብ ወወልድ ወመንፈስ ቅዱስ አሐዱ አምላክ አሜን። በመላው ዓለም ለምትገኙ የተዋህዶ ልጆች በሙሉ በሀገር አውስትራሊያ መቀመጫውን አድርጎ የተለያዩ ወቅታዊ ሀገራዊና እንዲሁም መንፈሳዊ ትምህርቶችን፣ ስብከቶችንና ዝማሬዎችን ከልዩ ትንታኔ ጋር ወደ እናንተ የሚያቀርበው ኤልቲ ሚዲያን አሁኑኑ የዩቲዩብ ቻናሉን ሰብስክራይብ በማድረግና የፌስቡክ ገጹንም ላይክ በማድረግ አሁኑኑ ቤተሰብ ይሁኑ። ኤልቲ ሚዲያ ትክክለኛ የተዋህዶ ድምፅ ከሀገረ አውስትራሊያ ከሜልበርን ከተማ ለተዋህዶ ልጆች በሙሉ በመላው ዓለም እጅግ በሳልና ወቅታዊ ትንታኔዎችን ወደ እናንተ ይዞላችሁ ይቀርባል። ስለተከፉት ጠበቃ ሆኖ ይቆማል። ስለተለያዩ ገዳማትና አድባራት ልዩ ዘገባዎችን ይዞላችሁ ይቀርባል። ኤልቲ ሚዲያ የተለያዩ እንግዶችንም ከተለያዩ ክፍለ ዓለማት ይጋብዛል። ስለዚህ አሁኑኑ ኤልቲ ሚዲያን ለአራትና ለአምስት ሰው ሼር በማስደረግና ላይክ በማስደረግ ኤልቲ ሚዲያ የሁላችንም ምርጫ ይሁን።
በስመ አብ ወወልድ ወመንፈስ ቅዱስ አሐዱ አምላክ አሜን። በመላው ዓለም ያላችሁ ኢትዮጵያውያን እንዴት አላችሁልን? ሰላም እግዚአብሔር ከእናንተ ጋር ይሁን። የምታዩት የምትመለከቱት ልሳነ ተዋህዶ ሚዲያ ነው። ልሳነ ተዋህዶ ሚዲያ ከእናንተ ጋር ጥቂት ቆይታዎችን ያደርጋል። እንዲሁም ደግሞ ባላችሁበት ሆናችሁ እንድትከታተሉ ሀሳብ አስተያየታችሁንም እንድትሰጡ በዚሁ አጋጣሚ ለመግለጽ እንወዳለን። አብራችሁን ስላላችሁ ደግሞ ከልብ በእውነት እናመሰግናለን። አብሮ በመቆየት እንግዲህ ሀሳብ አስተያየታችሁን እንድትሰጡን በድጋሚ እየጠየቅን አብራችሁን ቆዩ። መልካም የተወደዳችሁ ተመልካቾቻችን እንኳን እንግዲህ ለዘመነ ጽጌ ፍጻሜ በሰላም በፍቅር አደረሳችሁ ለማለት እንወዳለን። ይሄ የምትመለከቱት ልሳነ ተዋህዶ ሚዲያ ነው። እንግዲህ ልሳነ ተዋህዶ ሚዲያ ዛሬ ለየት ባለ ፕሮግራም ወደ እናንተ መጥቷል። ልዩ ልዩ ፕሮግራሞችን ለእናንተ እናቀርባለን። እናንተ ባላችሁበት ሆናችሁ እንድትከታተሉን በትህትና እንጠይቃለን። በጣም እጅግ በሚያምር እና በተዋበ መንገድ እንደምትከታተሉ ተስፋ እናደርጋለን። ዛሬ የምናቀርብላችሁ እንግዲህ በደብራችን በደብረ ገነት ሁለገብ መንፈሳዊ አዳራሽ ያለፈው ማክሰኞ ዕለት የተካሄደ ልዩ ፕሮግራም ነበር። ያን ልዩ ፕሮግራም ዛሬ እንድትከታተሉት እንፈልጋለን። ያ ልዩ ፕሮግራም ደግሞ ለእናንተ ለልጆቻችሁ፣ ለአካባቢዎቻችሁ እንዲሁም ደግሞ በተለይ ደግሞ ከ10ኛ ክፍል ጀምሮ ያሉ ልጆቻችንን እስከ ዩኒቨርስቲ ያሉ የሚጠቅምና ለወደፊት ተስፋና ራዕይ እንዲሰንቁ የሚያደርጋቸው ነው። በተለይም በዚህ ፕሮግራም ላይ የተገኙት ፕሮፌሰሮች፣ ዶክተሮች እጅግ ጠቃሚ የሆነ ምክርና ወደፊትም ደግሞ ልጆቻችን ከዩኒቨርስቲ እንደ እግዚአብሔር ፈቃድ ቢጨርሱ ነገ ስራ ለነሱ እድል የሚያመቻቹ እንደመሆናቸው መጠን ለልጆቻችን በጣም እጅግ ጠቃሚ ነው። ነገር ግን በእለቱ ብዙ ሰዎች አልመጡም ነበረ። ቢሆንም ግን የተገኙት እጅግ የተጠቀሙበት አሉ። ፕሮፌሰሮችን አናግረዋል። እንግዲህ ታላላቅ ፕሮፌሰሮች ናቸው የመጡት። ለምሳሌ አንደኛ በእለቱ ይሄንን የፓናል ውይይት ከመሩት መካከል አንደኛ ፕሮፌሰር ቪክቶር ካጋራ የሚባሉ በአረማይቲ ዩኒቨርሲቲ የንግድና የሕግ ኮሌጅ መስራች ወይም ተባባሪ ዳይሬክተር፣ የአፍሪካ ተሳትፎ ማዕከል መስራች እና የመሪ ስታይል ስልጠና እና የኢንዱስትሪ ምርምር መረብ ናቸው። STIR የሚሰሩ ታላቅ ፕሮፌሰር ነው በቦታው ተገኝተው ገለጻ ሲያደርጉ የነበሩት። ሁለተኛው ፕሮፌሰር አብዱላሂ ዳሂር አህመድ በአረማይቲ ዩኒቨርሲቲ የዲፓርትመንት ኃላፊ ፌን እቅድና ታክስና የታክስ ክፍል ናቸው። ሶስተኛው ፕሮፌሰር ደሳለኝ ምረት የኛ ኢትዮጵያዊ ናቸው። በአረማይቲ ዩኒቨርሲቲ ምክትል ኃላፊ የሂሳብ ክፍልም ኃላፊ ጭምር ናቸው። አራተኛው እንዲሁም ተባባሪ ፕሮፌሰር ማርያም አካራ በአረማይቲ ዩኒቨርሲቲ በማርኬቲንግ ውስጥ የፈጠራ ተመራማሪ አካል ናቸው። ሴት እንስት ናቸው በቦታው የተገኙት። በጣም ልዩና የሚደንቅ ገለጣ ነው ሲሰጡ የነበሩት። አምስተኛው ደግሞ ዶክተር አሸናፊ ብሩ ከፍተኛ መምህር እና ዳይሬክተር ናቸው በቦታው ኤኤስ ከፍተኛ ምርምር አስተዳደር ክፍል ናቸው። እንግዲህ ደግሞ ፓናሉን ሲያወያዩን የነበሩት አንደኛው የኛው የኢትዮጵያ ኮሚኒቲ ሊቀመንበር የነበሩት ዶክተር ተስፋዬ ይግዛው ናቸው። በተጨማሪም የኛው የቤተክርስቲያን አገልጋዮቻችን ዶክተር ተፈሪ በላይነህና ዶክተር ቡሩክ ደሳለኝ ፕሮግራሙን በከፍተኛ መንገድ ሲመሩት ነበረ። ይሄ እንግዲህ ቅድም እንዳልኳችሁ እንደገለጥኩላችሁ ከ10ኛ ክፍል ላሉ ልጆቻችን እስከ ዩኒቨርሲቲ ድረስ ላሉ ልጆቻችን በጣም እጅግ የሚጠቅምና ትምህርትን እንዴት መማር እንዳለባቸው ከልጅነት ጀምሮ በትምህርታቸውም እንዴት ሰክሰስ እንደሆኑ ለፕሮፌሰርነት ማዕረግ እንደደረሱ ልምዳቸውንም ያካፈሉበት ጭምር ነው። ከዛ ውጭ ደግሞ ልጆቻችን ከ10ኛ እስከ ዩኒቨርሲቲ በተለይ ደግሞ ዩኒቨርሲቲ ላሉ ይበልጥ እገዛ በእነዚህ ፕሮፌሰሮች እንዴት ማግኘት እንዳለባቸውና ወደፊትም ሰክሰስ ሆነው ስራቸውን ሲጨርሱ የስራ እድል እንዴት ማግኘት እንደሚችሉ የነሱ መረዳትና አጋዥነት እንደሚኖረው በሰፊው የተገለጠበት ነበር። ብዙዎቹ እጅግ እድሉን ተጠቅመውበታል። እንግዲህ ይሄንን እድል በመጠቀም ደግሞ ልጆቻችን ቢጠቀሙ ጥሩ ነበር። ይዛችሁ አልመጣችሁም። በጣም በሚገርም ሁኔታ ጥቂቶች ናቸው የመጡት። ጥቂቶች ግን መጥተው እንዳልኳችሁ ተጠቅመውበታል። ከፕሮፌሰሮች ጋር ተዋውቀዋል፣ እጅ ለእጅ ተጨባብጠዋል፣ ሀሳብ ተለዋውጠዋል። እንደገና የነገ ተግዳሮታቸውን በቀላሉ እንዴት ሊያሻሽሉላቸውና ሊቀርፉላቸው እንደሚችሉ ጭምር ነው የተነጋገሩ። ስለዚህ ልጆቻችሁን ይዛችሁ ባለመምጣታችሁ ትንሽ የቀረባችሁ ይመስለኛል እና ለማንኛውም ወደ ውይይቱ ነው የምንሄደው። ውይይቱን እንድትከታተሉ በትህትና እንጠይቃለን። ይሄ እንግዲህ ክፍል 1 ውይይት ነው። ክፍል 2 በቀጣይ ይቀጥላል። የክፍል 1 ውይይትን ዛሬ እናስጀምራለን። ባላችሁበት ሆናችሁ አብራችሁን ቆዩ እና በፍጹም ትህትና እንድትከታተሉ ለእናንተው ጠቃሚ ስለሆነ ለማሳሰብ እንወዳለን። አብራችሁን ስላላችሁ ከልብ እናመሰግናለን። ይሄ የምትመለከቱት ልሳነ ተዋህዶ ሚዲያ ነው። ልሳነ ተዋህዶ ሚዲያን ለሌሎች ሼር እንድታደርጉና እንዲደርስ ደግሞ ያልሰሙትም ሰምተው ልጆቻቸው ተጠቃሚ እንዲሆኑ እንድታደርጉ በድጋሚ ጥሪያችን እናስተላልፋለን። አብራችሁን ቆዩ።
high-level research and academic professionals from Aramat University. Welcome all of you. It's a bit exciting for you, today to see, as you might have like many questions, especially to meet senior professionals in the university who are engaged in academics and research. And we are privileged today and excited to see as well, the senior professionals from a background, in different disciplines, in economics, business, social science. We have today Professor Victor, who is a founding co-director at Ramati Center for Academic Engagement. Professor Victor is also founder and leader in Skills Training and Industry Research Network. He's a sociologist in the Department of Supply Chain and Logistic Management at RMIT University. Professor Victor holds a PhD in International Political Economy from Cardiff University. His research examines on issues of like labor, global capital, state regulation, particularly within the shipping industry. We have also here Professor Ahmed, that's Abdullahi Ahmed. He's also head of the Department of Financial Planning at Aramat University. His research and expertise is on like tax, wealth management. He's also running academic programs within the School of Academic Accounting, Information System and Supply Chain. We have here as well Professor Desalegn, is a deputy head of the Department of Accounting at Aramat University. Professor Desalegn has a teaching and research experience in auditing, assurance, and forensic accounting, and he has supervised and co-supervised PhD candidates for their completion. And we have also here Associate Professor Marian. She's Associate Professor in Marketing, and she's also award-winning researcher and educator. Her research is focused on consumer diversity, identity, market inclusion at the intersection of like technology, branding, and institution. We have also senior lecturer here, Dr. Ashanafi Buru. He's also program manager for strategic and innovation at RMIT University and at the School of Management. His work integrates like entrepreneurship, innovation, strategy, and international business through research, teaching, and industry collaboration. Today's program, compared to the workshop that we had training in the past, we had a research, a scientific inquiry skill training in the past, but today we brought highly esteemed research and academic professionals from Aramat University for some of the questions that you might have. So we have thematically, those questions, and we have a facilitator, a moderator, to run today's panel discussion. We have here Dr. Tafari Balaina. 20 years before he was assistant professor at Hawassa University. Now he's a manager at Omnia, and also now deputy head of, chairman of the St. Michael Ethiopian Orthodox Church. We have the second facilitator, Dr. Tesfaye Igzau. Same, 20 years before he was assistant professor at Hawassa University. Now he's a senior expert in one of the financial industry here in Melbourne. As a maybe good chance, I have served same university with Dr. Tafari and also Dr. Tesfaye in the past during my as well work experience working with Hawassa University and Alumni University. So the first session will be facilitated by Dr. Tafari. Dr. Tafari will have questions. So for a discussion, you may have as a rule of panel discussion, I'll tell you you may have one or two hands, if you have any question that's not entertained, or you'd like to have a discussion with our esteemed guests. So please let's welcome Dr. Tafari to the stage. First session of the panel discussion.
Dr. Brook, welcome again our guests. To start from myself, honestly speaking, it was my dream to continue what I started at uni. Unfortunately, life takes you different paths. So we were just taken away by different companies, so we stayed there. But even to date, I like going to universities. My son was at university, and the first thing I asked him, will you take me to your uni? And I went with him, and it's like a very good mood that day, because you see people going to the libraries and studying, and everybody is busy. So it's really a good thing to be around academia. And yeah, we're very happy today to have this panel discussion with you guys. Without taking much time, I divided my session into basically three topics. The first one obviously is about inspiration. Yes, as you can see, we have got good expertise from accounting, tax, law, management, and business, and so on. So the first question that we may have is, do we have any motivation to go into a certain field? You guys, most of you are in high school, going to be uni students soon. So how can that type of desire evolve? And how can we take that into university? So that's the first part. Second part, is there a difference between being a high school student and a university student? I'm sure there are different differences between a student in high school and university. So how can students like the young generation adapt a university life? The third one, we always tend to focus on academic results. Is that the only thing that we should focus? Or are there some other skills that's needed so that we can qualify to the workforce? These days, yes, transcript is something, but I'm sure there are additional things which are required by an employer. So without taking much time, I'll go to the first question. Again, so the first part is about motivation and inspiration. So to any one of you, I think you can jump in any time. Was there any particular moment, it can be a teacher or an event or any circumstances, which led you to be the professional you are in today? Or was it like going with the flow, and does it have any advantages and disadvantages to that? We can start from the head of department or from any one of you.
Everyone. I think for me, my parents were a big motivation. I always saw how hardworking they are, but I also I like to solve problems, like a detective in a way. And I knew that being a police officer would not be a career for me. Closest thing was actually, and I'm quite creative as well. I like to solve certain issues and look at how people do the things they do. And I was really interested in psychology and all these things, but I also had this creative side of me. So again, I always believe when you're in high school, you probably don't know what you want to do. When people ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up? You probably have no idea, and you say, I don't know yet. But that's okay, because the more you kind of find something that inspires you or motivates you, like a parent who's maybe they do something in a certain way, or you find that you really enjoy doing something. I would start there, and then you go from there. So that led me to realizing I actually like consumer behavior. I like seeing how people decide to do certain things, and why do they do it, and how do they do it. And that led me to understanding consumer culture. Like, why do people buy or use certain things in a certain way, like motorbikes, or people are addicted or fans of a certain product. I like that, and I like to understand, okay, why do they do that? And it just led me to a certain path. And I wasn't always an academic, but I was first in industry and then I moved to academia. But I realized that that also inspired me to move into doing more studies and learning more about consumers' behavior and attitudes and perceptions. So I think my advice is always for young adults like yourselves, I would always start with understanding what is the thing that excites you most, and then go from there.
On behalf of the panel, let me say that such kind of activities or interaction forums are quite important to share ideas and insight about how some of us can be role model to young generation where you're going to be having an education pathways that will determine your future. So it's a great session where we can share insights and we can share views. And in a way, it's a mechanism to actually support you guys who are trying to identify your strength and your interest in terms of what you want to pursue in life. So, so such sessions are quite good. So to come back to that particular question, first of all, we need to appreciate that everyone has a unique ability. And there are many ways of picking that unique ability. It could be that your parents would one day tell you, you know, you're good in languages, or you're good in maths, or you're good in sciences, biology, and chemistry, and you can do well in something. That's one way to identify your strength. The other view is to actually participate in something called career and guidance. So I remember when we were in high school, and I'm from Kenya, so we used to have a very good system of having a department called career and guidance at high school, where you get an opportunity to talk to your teachers, and you also get an opportunity to talk to your mentors. And so that way, they will actually tell you you're good in a particular area. You know, you have a good mathematical ability, you have a good analytical skills, or you're good in languages, or you're good in analyzing things from legal perspective, and so you'll be good in a particular field. So I think for me, in addition to having the parental background where my parents were, liking me to pursue an education where, we should go to universities, I also had the opportunity to interact with teachers and helping me to identify my strength and my abilities, my unique abilities, where everyone has a unique ability. But one thing that I've seen being quite important is it is a bigger challenge if you are the first member of the community, the first member of the family to actually go to university. So if you are the first, you will be the prototype.
I was the first.
So in that sense, you will actually have a bigger challenge in terms of not being able to identify your strength in that sense, compared to if you have a sibling or a brother or sister who has been through the university system, or at least attended the university system, because it's all about sharing information, sharing ideas, and trying to identify how you can overcome some of those educational challenges as you learn along the way. So you need support from various key individuals in your lifetime. And if you can get to talk to those individuals, that would be a blessing in a way.
I can add one thing. How many of you have heard, oh, you are good at this, but you actually don't believe you are good at it? Or sometimes people tell you, no, this thing is not yours, it's not something you can do, but you actually really resonate with that sort of things. I think the reason I became actually in the academia wasn't out of passion necessarily, rather it's more out of frustration. When I was a kid, I grew up going to church back home. I was the shyest person ever. I can't utter a single word in front of people, especially when someone gives me attention. I just get sweaty, I get just shaky.
Really?
Yeah, I know. Look at me now.
Now he's a different person.
And when I hear people saying many things, sometimes I want to say something back because I actually believe I have something better ideas, but I never said it again. So people get applause for saying anything in class. When the teacher asked me to answer questions, I just got kind of shaky. And it was really hell. So when people actually try, we do group presentation, although they all say, talking is not your Ash, just do the PowerPoints, all these kind of things. But at some point, I have to just say, you know what? I have to do something about this one. And I was tired of actually people looking at me like I'm the shyest person. So when I go to uni, whatever discipline I do, I am going to be a teacher. And I will stand in front of people, just talk. And that's how it starts. It becomes a mission from that frustration. So it didn't matter actually what discipline I was doing at the time. What mattered for me was I need to have that confidence to communicate what I think, what I believe to people.
So frustration is in a way.
That was the fire for me. It wasn't even the passion. It was, I just did. Now, always I reflect back when I talk to my students, 100 students in front of me, and I feel like I'm doing this. You should have given me this. I can't stop talking now, as you see. And I think what I'm trying to say to you is, you will probably hear from people what you are good at or what you are not. You are the one who knows you, more importantly. And people might try to impose, family particularly try to guide you. And the main reason is because they want the best for you. That's the point. But if you try to impress by suppressing what you believe in, what you really want to achieve, it won't be a win-win. It's going to be lose-lose for everyone. So the best thing to do is, what is the one thing that is bothering you, really want to do, but for some reason you are holding back? Maybe tapping onto that would be one of the energizing things that you can do, and you can turn it into career. It becomes my career now.
I strongly believe that you become what you imagine yourself becoming. So there's a way you can project, and I think the beginning is to have confidence in what you want to become. You find your niche, you find your interest, what is it you're passionate about. I think for you, young people growing up through high school, the first thing you have to think about yourself as the leaders of tomorrow. If you look at the multinational businesses we have, the governments we have, the organizations we have right now, the universities, they are going to be led by somebody in the next 15, 20 years, right? And nobody is going to lead them apart from yourself. So you have to start by thinking about yourself in the sense that I am tomorrow's future. I'm tomorrow's leader, all right? And then the second thing is that you have to have confidence in the fact that you can do that. So you have to own this space. That if I don't own this space, who else is going to own it? And why is somebody else better than I am in owning this space? So you have to claim your space, identify your interests, identify what you're good at, project yourself in the way that you should as tomorrow's leader, and then own that space. Now, just to add a little in terms of motivation and my inspirations, I think you, in life, as you go through lives every day, every month, every year, there are inspirations all over the place. The thing is, how do you recognize, how do you identify them? We've got our parents, we've got our teachers, we've got the people that we meet on a day-to-day basis, we've got our church leaders, lecturers in uni, and all these people, all these experiences that you have on a daily basis are actually your motivation, your inspiration. It depends on whether you are able to recognize it. In my case, in secondary school, high school, there was a teacher, and she was a teacher of English. And to me, she was probably the best teacher I ever had. And I think she recognized it. And I've always been a good student, not because I always had high grades, But because I was an engaged student, I was all over the place. I was curious. I wanted to learn things. And I think she realized this. And she used to give me books and assignments, extra assignments to go and do that she didn't give other students. And so I read a lot of literature. She was a teacher of English and literature. So I read a lot of literature, I read a lot of books, and I was quite good at it. So when I went to uni, it was almost obvious that I was going to do English and literature. So that's what I majored in. So that was the first inspiration. The second inspiration was a Dutch academic that visited our university. And I was one of the students that was attempted. He was doing research on lake languages in Kenya. I was one of the students that was appointed to assist him. So to be, there were 4 of us to be a research assistant to him. And I don't like listening to my own voice. So he gave us, the task we were to do as research assistants was actually to go out into the villages and collect information and talk to people and learn about their languages, learn about how they live. And he gave us instruments to do this, tape recorders and notebooks and all this. And we collected this and we came back and we analyzed that. Remember, this is university. I think I was in 3rd year. And that raised that was the time I realized that I like doing research. I like learning about people, trying to understand how people live. And I think that's what led me to be a social scientist. That's what led me to want to learn more about people, understand their lives, understand their languages, understand their opportunities, etc., etc. So the last thing I'm going to leave you with is that you need to identify what you are interested in, not necessarily what you're good at, what you're interested in, own that space, and believe that you can do it. And I think you'll go.
I can share my experience as well. Yeah. Everyone's experience is unique in a way. And the way I chose my career at the beginning, I started as an accountant in industry, and of course that choice of studying accounting was not necessarily a very conscious choice in a way, because opportunities are not that many back then. I studied in Ethiopia, and my choice was not that complicated by then. Just look at which career gives you the opportunity, which option gives you the opportunity for a good career, which one has better job opportunities in that context. That was really the main thing. And then, can I do it? Then, as long as I have the skills to do it, yes, I can go for it. That was how I got into accounting. Then I worked for 3 years as an accountant, and I started, to observe the story behind the numbers. It's not just like studying in the textbooks that we observe in university. There are some stories that the numbers tell, and how they are produced and how they affect decisions that affect people. So that curiosity led me to an interest in more of education and research, and then I moved to my current career. So that's what I really chose more consciously. And the biggest inspiration again was in 2002, I believe. I read Time Magazine's announcement of persons of the year for that time, and two of the 3 people they mentioned were accountants in background, and they were certified accountants and working in different roles. So one was internal auditor, another was an accountant, and they exposed huge fraud that happened at that time. And I saw how, accounting is not just about numbers and the story behind it, but it's really about truth and accountability as well. And I got drawn into more of asking more questions. How can we make it better? How do accountants play a role in that kind of context to enhance accountability? And my first research project was in internal auditing, and luckily I was successful, and then I started the research career then, and I looked for further opportunities to strengthen my research training, and I looked for scholarship opportunities, and I got that, and then I continued with that career. So the point is, really, the passion didn't spark instantly. It's a matter of really keeping an open mind, being curious, and then starting it and developing, nurturing it. It's like a campfire. You start it small and then you grow, build it. So that's how it went for me.
So my next question is for some of these young people who are not confident in anything, who doesn't know their passion, what will be your advice? Maybe one or two comments.
I always say that, you're never stuck with something. Like you can, and it's not an issue if you decide one day I'm going to study X, and you go into university and you study it and you realize that's not for me. It's totally fine to move towards something else. You're never really stuck one way and that's it. I had many parts of my career, I studied public relations, and I'm doing something else. And that's okay, because it's like you're collecting skills and knowledge as you go throughout your life. So nothing is a waste of time. That's one thing I always tell myself. It builds an experience and it builds your life journey. One really good thing I'd say that you can start doing is start talking to as many people as possible. Attending things like this really opens your eyes as to what you want to do or what you might like to do. Speak to your career counselor in the school if you have one, and I'm pretty sure you have one. Speak to your parents, go try and look for internships. When you can, I would start working. At the age of 15, you're able to work if your parents allow that. All these things build your skill, build your professional skills, personal skills, communication. It really opens your eyes to a different world. And the more you do these things, the more you get experience, the more you talk to people, the more you attend events like this, you really learn what kind of things, excite you. And I always say, yes, you need to be good at something, but I also think you need to be excited about something, because it'll help you wake up the next day and go study, go to work, do all the things that you will do in your future. So try and attend as many events as possible. These are all opportunities you can't waste, basically. Speak to as many people, leaders in your church. They have knowledge. Find a mentor. In my church, for example, we have mentors that mentor certain kids, and they become role models. And they talk to you, they guide you, they make you, explain the things and thoughts that you have in your head. Don't keep it all up here, but actually talk about it. These are all really great things. And of course, make use of all the resources at school. Again, there are career days. You can research yourself, investigate what does a day in the life of this person look like. If it's academia, you can reach out to any one of us. If it's a certain job or a certain career, reach out to that company and say, I'd love to come shadow you for one day. They will never say no, by the way. So there are so many things. People want to help, the youth. So always try and make use, and don't be shy about it. It is hard, I understand, but hard to get out of your comfort zone, but it will pay off.
we were, Marian unfortunately has to leave, and it's a big loss to the panel, but I think hopefully we'll represent you well, Marian. Okay, so when we are growing up, there's always a lot of pressure, especially if you grow up in where we grew up, at least where I grew up. I grew up in Kenya, to very strict parents, to very high expectations, and at that time you were expected to fit into what were called the professionals, professional careers. So you are either a teacher or a lawyer or an accountant or a doctor or an engineer. The idea was that as soon as you finish, you get a job. You get a job, you start earning income, you support your siblings, you support your family, etc., etc. So we were forced to make choices that we probably might not have made if we were left to our flexibilities, right? For example, I don't think I'd have gone to university if I was given the choice. I wasn't interested in going to university. I was a very good student, but university was not my thing. I actually wanted to go into mass media, and at that time we didn't have programs at uni that taught mass media. I wanted to go into acting because I think I was good at it. I used to write plays, etc., etc. So there are so many things that I was interested in. I wanted to go into sports, but we didn't have those flexibilities. Now, you people you are actually in a very good position because you've got the flexibility, you've got support, and I'm sure that you've got supportive families. You've got, not that my parents were not supportive, that we were just limited in the options that we could see in front of us. So the starting point for you, and I'm going to echo what Marian said, the starting point for you is that you are at an age where you shouldn't feel too pressurized, too anxious, too uncertain about your future, because your future is just beginning. If there were parents listening in this forum, I would say exactly the same thing. If you put your children at this age under too much pressure, they are likely to implode or to explode because you are under too much pressure. Take time to explore. So there are 3 attributes that I would advise young people like yourselves. One is confidence, the other is curiosity, and the other is receptiveness. And this is nothing new. Marian has said the same thing. The panel has said all these 3 attributes. Confidence. Confidence to believe in yourself and to believe that you can make it, you can do it. What normally undermines our success is the limitations or the limits that we put on our abilities. You look at yourself in relation to somebody else and you say, well, I can never be as good as so and so. So you're already putting limitations to your abilities. But if you allow yourself to imagine and to be confident that you can actually do what anybody else can do, then there are no limits to where you can go. All right? The second thing is curiosity. Curiosity to always want to learn more, to always want to learn from everybody around you, to learn from every incident around you, that every incident is an opportunity, even the negative incidents. They are all opportunities. The third thing is receptiveness. When you are open to ideas and open to listen, open to learn, you're going to be, it's like you are an absorber. You're a sponge that is absorbing every opportunity, every information, every guidance that is out there. Everybody becomes your mentor. Everybody becomes a resource for you. So those 3 attributes for me, if you can develop them and start thinking seriously about projecting who I want to become, how I utilize and develop these 3 attributes to make me who I want to become, I think that is what you need. And I think your starting point about confidence. Confidence is the most important. You have to have confidence in yourself. And but you have to keep telling yourself, I am as good as everybody else, irrespective of what anybody tells you, irrespective of what I think it's Ash who was saying that people will always tell you, you can do this, you can't do this, this is something that you can't do. But if you say, well, why can I? So and so does it, everybody else does it. I want to imagine myself as the next Prime Minister of Australia. Why not? Right? I might never get there, but I'm going to give it a really good chance. I'm not going to limit my possibilities and my capacities. So that confidence, to believe in yourself, and then to be open to receive as much as you can, to be curious to learn, that is the foundation of successful careers and successful life.
When we ask people to actually understand what they want, even the question itself sometimes misguides us, because you will never, ever know what you want. That's true. At least from my part. Hear me out. Life is a process. You want this today, tomorrow, once especially you have it, you have to move on to something else. Once you have it, you have to move on to something else. That's human nature. So when you try to figure out what do I want, it's a waste of time, it's a waste of your energy. I think what works for me, because I have asked this one, and one thing that really helped me from someone who actually, I was there a while ago asking the same or thinking the same question, and one thing that really worked for me that I got it from someone was never focus on what you want, focus on what you don't want to do. You have to be clear with that always. Think of with you going with your friends out. Let's go this, I'm not feeling it. How about this? You keep just going and going until people are frustrated. But if you say, you know what, I don't want to do this, one thing. I don't want to do these two things. Then the rest, do whatever it is, but not this. So by default, by not doing what you don't want to do, you will end up doing what you really want to do. I think that's how you can progress in life. Otherwise, trying to figure out what do I want, you want so many things because you are capable of so many things. But also you are human. There is a limitation. You cannot do everything. So the best thing you can do is focus, be clear with what you don't want to do, then the rest, it will come by itself. That's what I would say.
Thank you very much.
I would say picking the right mentor and getting advice from a mentor would be very crucial.
Excellent. Prof, you can continue.
Wow, that's a difficult one. I think if I was 17, I would advise myself to seek as many opportunities as I can, as in keep options open as much as I can, and also to listen to as many people as I can and take it in.
Don't worry, you're not going back.
No, I want that because I wish someone, I knew that I need to be different than others. I think I try to get in, like fit in, right? To be like others, but being you and having that interpersonal relationship, but staying to yourself through that differentiation skill would be the best thing you can do for life.
I think in a nutshell, I would say learn from other people's failures. If I fail, learn from me so that you don't fail. So talk to other people, exactly what has been conveyed here. Learn from other people's mistakes and failures to perfect yourself. And I think in this age and time, that's the best thing.
Thank you very much. Round of applause. Now, really, I took lots of points. As you can see, I was taking notes. These are really important points, not only for people going to uni, but general life skills. So Thank you very much to the panelists. If I go beyond this, the coordinator is going to kill me because there is a second part as well. So we'll have a break. I'm sure there are some snacks outside. Okay, only 5 minutes, but back to the coordinator now. Thank you very much, guys. And say they got into uni, but life may not be easy. So how can students keep on motivating themselves?
መልካም የተወደዳችሁ ተመልካቾቻችን እንዴት አላችሁልን ለማለት እንወዳለን። እንግዲህ ፓርቷን እስካሁን የተከታተላችሁት ነበረ። በእውነት የልሂቃን አክብረው እኔ በጣም የሚገርመኝ አንድ ቁም ነገር ልንገራችሁ። በጣም እጅግ አክብረው ቅድም በስም የጠቀስኳቸው ታላላቅ ልሂቃን፣ ምሁራን፣ ፕሮፌሰሮች ለኛ ለልጆቻችን ብለው አክብረው በዚህ በቦታው በመገኘት ይሄንን የመሰለ ዲስከሽን አድርገዋል። ለእውነት ከሆነ ለማንኛውም እንመለሳለን፣ ቀጣዩን ጉዳይ እንነግራቸዋለን። አብራችሁን ቆዩ። መልካም እንግዲህ አስቀድመን እንዳልናችሁ ተበልሰናል። በእውነት ታላላቅ ሰዎች በተለይ የዚህ የፓናል ዲስከሽን በተለይ በተለያየ የሙያ ክህሎት ያላቸው ፕሮፌሰሮች ቅድም በስም የጠቀስኳቸው ፕሮፌሰር ቪክቶር ካጋራ በአርማይቲ ዩኒቨርሲቲ ንግድና ሕግ ኮሌጅ መስራች ተባባሪ ዳይሬክተር፣ የአፍሪካ ተሳትፎ ማዕከል መስራች እና መሪ፣ እንዲሁም ስልጠና ኢንዱስትሪ ምርምር ማዕከል አካል የሆነ ሰው፣ በጣም ትልቅ ሰው፣ ትልቅ ፖዚሽን ያለው፣ በጣም ትልቅ ፖዚሽን ያለው በዚህ በሀገሪቱ መንግስትም ዘንድ ትልቅ ተቀባይነት ያለው ትልቅ ፕሮፌሰር ነው። እንግዲህ ይሄ አካል ነው በቦታው ተገኝቶ እኔን የመሰሉ ማብራሪያዎችና ለልጆች ጠቃሚ ሊሆኑ የሚችሉ ነገሮችን የነገረን። ሌላው ፕሮፌሰር አብዱላሂ ዳሂር አህመድ በአርማይቲ ዩኒቨርሲቲ ዲፓርትመንት ኃላፊ ነው፣ እቅድና ታክቲክም ክፍል ጭምር ነው። እንዲሁም ፕሮፌሰር ደሳለኝ ምረት በአርማይቲ ዩኒቨርሲቲ ምክትል ኃላፊ ሂሳብ ክፍል ኃላፊ ነው። ተባባሪ ፕሮፌሰር ማርያም አካራ በአርማይቲ ዩኒቨርሲቲ እንዲሁም በማርኬቲንግ ውስጥ ፈጠራ ተመራማሪ ናት። ዶክተር አሸናፊ ብሩ ክብሩ መምህር ዳይሬክተርም ጭምር ነው። እንግዲህ ደግሞ ውይይቱ ላይ የነበሩት እርግጥ የዶክተር ተስፋዬ የኢትዮጵያ ኮሚኒቲ ሊቀመንበር የሱ ተርም ከምሳ በኋላ ያለው ስለሆነ በቀጣይ በፓርትቱ የምናገኘው ይሆናል። ዶክተር ተፈሪ በላይነህም እንዳያችሁት ነው። እንግዲህ ዶክተር ዲያቆን ብሩክ ደሳለኝም በዚህ አይነት መልክ በጣም እጅግ ልዩ የሆነ በነገራችን ላይ ለልጆች በጣም እጅግ ጠቃሚ ነው። መጥተው መቀመጣቸው ማዳመጣቸው ብቻ አይደለም። አንደኛ ልጆች የወደፊት ህልማቸውን መጠየቅና እንዴት ማሳካት እንዳለባቸው መጠየቅ ይችላሉ። ከዛም ውጪ ሰክሰሱ ነው እንኳን ዩኒቨርሲቲ ቢጨርሱ እና እንደው መሰናክል እንኳን ቢገጥማቸው እነዚህ ፕሮፌሰሮች እና ባለሙያዎች እንደመሆናቸው መጠን እገዛና ድጋፍ ያደርጉላቸዋል። ከዛም አልፎ ትምህርት በጨረሱበት ሰዓት የተሻለ ስራ እንዴት ማግኘት እንደሚችሉ መንገዱንና መስመሩን ይመሯቸዋል ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ ልጆቻችን መገኘታቸው የሚጠቅመው ለዚህ ነው። በተለይ ከ10ኛ ክፍል ጀምሮ ያሉ እስከ ዩኒቨርሲቲ ድረስ በእንደዚህ አይነት ውይይቶች ባይቀሩ ቢገኙ ጥሩ ነው ባይኔ። በቀጣይ ይኖራል ብዬ አስባለሁ። ያው በማስታወቂያ እንናገራለን። ያኔ ግን ልጆቻችሁን ባታስቀሩ እጅግ ደስ ይለኛል ብዬ አስባለሁኝ። ምክንያቱም ጠቃሚና ወሳኝ ጉዳይ እንደመሆኑ መጠን ስለዚህ ይህንን መሰል እድል ነገም ከነገ ወዲያ ልናገኘው ስለማንችል ልንጠቀምበት ይገባል። በዚህ ላይ ደግሞ የደብራችን በእውነት ደብራችን ሊመሰገን ይገባው። ደብረ ገነት ቅዱስ ሚካኤል ቤተክርስቲያን እንዲህ ታላላቅ ባለሙያዎችን በሙያው ዘርፍ ያሉትን በተለያዩ ዘርፍ ያሉትን አምጥቶ ለልጆቻችን አራያ እንዲሆኑና የማይሻገሩት የማይወጡት ጋራና ሸንተረር ቁልቁለት እንደሌለ በትምህርቱ ዘርፉ ማለት ነው። እንግዲህ እነዚህ ወንድሞቻችን እንደ እውነት ካየናቸው ባክግራውንዳቸው አውስትራሊያዊ አይደሉም ከአፍሪካ የመጡ ናቸው በብዛትና ሴቷን ብትሆን እንደዚሁ ባክግራውንዷ ከሌላ ነው። ዝሮ ግን በዛ ባስቸጋሪና ፈተና ባለበት እንኳን እዚህ ደረጃ መድረስ ከተቻለ እዚህ አውስትራሊያ ደግሞ በተመቻቸ ሀገር ላይ ትልቅ ደረጃ መድረስ እንደሚቻል ትልቅ ማሳያ ነውና ሞራልም ነው ብዬ አስባለሁ። ምኞትም ልጆቹ ጉጉትም ያድርባቸዋል። እኔም እንደነሱ ሁኜ የሚል ስሜት ይኖራቸዋል። ይዛቸዋቸው ብትመጡ ማለት ነው። እቤቱ ነው እንትን ከማለት ይልቅ እነሱን ይዞ መምጣቱ ጥቅሙ ለእናንተ ለልጆቻቸው ነው። ግን እኛ በጣም እጅግ ቸልተኞች ነን። እውነት እንነጋገር ካልን ቸልተኞች ነን። ከዶክተር በቀደም ሲነግረኝ ነበር አንዷ በጣም ጎበዝ ሆና እዛው ጠይቃ ምን ብላ በጣም በቂ ምላሽ እንዳገኘችና ለነገ ተስፋ እንደሰጧት ጭምር ነው ሲነግረኝ የነበረው እና ሌሎችም እንደዚህ በእንደዚህ አይነት መንገድ ተጠቅሙበታል። ስለዚህ እናንተም ልትጠቀሙበት ይገባል። ይሄንን ላደረጉ ደግሞ በእውነት አስበው በኢትዮጵያ ኦርቶዶክስ ተዋሕዶ ቤተክርስቲያን በሜልበርን ደብረ ገነት በኩል ያሉ ወንድሞች ይሄንን አስበው ፈንድ አፈላልገው እንደዚህ አይነት ፕሮግራሞች እንዲዘጋጁ ማድረጋቸው በእውነት ሊመሰገኑ ይገባል። እነሱም ደክመው ፕሮፌሰሮችም ደክመው ቤተክርስቲያኒቷም ደክማ እንዲህ ስታመጣ ደግሞ የኛ ተሳትፎ ለእናንተው ጥቅሙ በነፃ እኮ ነው። የሚገርማችሁ ቲቶር ብላችሁ እኮ ስንት ብር ነው የምትከፍሉት ለልጆቻችሁ? የሚገርማችሁ ይሄንን አናስተውለውም እና ለዛውም በነፃ ፕሮፌሰሮች መጥተው ይሄ እድል እንዴት እንዳመለጠን አይገባኝም። ስለዚህ በቀጣይ እንኳ ባይሆን እንድታውቁት በልሳነ ተዋሕዶም የዩቱብ ቻናልም ሆነ በፌስቡክ ገጻችን እንዲሁም በደብሩ የፌስቡክ ገጽ መልእክቶችን እናስተላልፋለን፣ ይደርሳል ማለት ነው። ይሄም ፕሮግራም ዛሬ እየተላለፈ ያለው በደብረ ገነት ቅዱስ ሚካኤል ቤተክርስቲያን የፌስቡክ ቻናል እና በልሳነ ተዋሕዶ የፌስቡክ ቻናል እንዲሁም የዩቱብ ቻናል በጋራ ነው እየተላለፈ ያለው ማለት ነው። ምክንያቱም ልሳነ ተዋሕዶ ሚዲያ እንደ ተጋባዥነት ፕሮግራሙን የሪኮርድ ያደረገውና የቀረጸው ልሳነ ተዋሕዶ ሚዲያ ነው። እንደ ደብር ደግሞ ፓናሉን ስላዘጋጀ በደብሮም የፌስቡክ ቻናሎች እና ዩቱብ ቻናሎችም እንደዚሁ መዘገብ ስላለበት በዚህ አስተላልፈነዋል። ኤኒዌይ አብራችሁን ስለነበራችሁ ከልብ እናመሰግናለን። በቀጣይ ፓርት 2 እንገናኛለን። ሰላም ሆኖልን